It is the Flow Friday Sports Show here on Flow FM, the summer edition, of course, and we're checking in with Bruce Phillips. He's got everything that we need to know about local football, and of course we're talking about the River Murray Football League, the grand final on the weekend. Jervois and Mypolonga going at it. Bruce, lots to talk about. We'll talk about some developments at the Coorong Cats later on as well. But firstly, over to you. On the weekend, you had the best seat in the house. Tell us how they went.
Oh, what a big week in River Murray football. The biggest week you've ever seen. It's one of the hugest weeks you ever see. The grand final week, but it's been topped off in the last 24 hours, can you believe it, with the big announcement of the Coorong Cats. And the signing, as you said, of Daniel Menzel, Daniel Menzel signing down there with the Coorong Cats, of course, the combination of Borderdown, Tintinara, and, of course, Meningi. And they are very excited down there, getting their big man, Daniel Menzel, who'll come down there as a playing coach. Of course, with the Geelong Footy Club, he played quite a few games there, about 70-odd games, and then went up to the Sydney Swans and come back to South Australia in 2021, and just, if you don't mind, a couple of premierships there with the Woodville West Torrens Eagles. So this bloke's coming with a huge busload of experience into the River Murray next year, and look, playing coach, sure to draw a few players alongside him, I would think. And hey, you remember you heard it here first on Flow FM. I reckon the Coorong Cats will be up in the grand final in 2024. Huge news. It's just breaking news across the Murraylands, and look, even bigger than the grand final as we go into those results now, Ellis.
Well, Bruce, let's talk about it. Mypolonga and Jervois going at it. You predicted a close one. How did it go in the end?
Oh, look, it was very disappointing for Mypolonga. Jervois, they just got that know-how to win from behind. They are really the Mr. Cool side of the River Murray. But look, as we go through the scores, they didn't have it all their own way. And probably at the end of the day, fair to say, I don't think Jervois won this. I think Mypolonga lost it, and that is evident on the scoreline. Quarter by quarter, Mypolonga led at the first change. 2 goals, 7, would you believe, Ellis? To 1 goal, 2. The margin 11 points, but gee, the Tigers could have put the Bloods away. Simple shots missed in front of goal, and that scoreline really should have read 5 goals, 4, I'm told by many that were at the match, and it wasn't inspiring football, to say the least, for an opening quarter of a grand final. Second term, Jervois, they got back into it somewhat, but Mypo again found it difficult in front of goal. 4 goals, 4 to Jervois, 2 goals, 3. And at half-time, the Tigers led 6-11 to 3-5. And that was a good little buffer margin at the long break. But, gee, Stevie Sumner, their coach, the Silver Fox, he hasn't got a lot of hair. Well, at half-time, I don't think he had any hair because he would have been frustrated with that shots at goal, in front of goal, and just pressure football in finals. And that's probably what it come down to at the end of the day. Jervois, just a few more season-hardened players that have played in big games. You know, the likes of Josh Scott and Casey Robbins and Peter Zarantinello, the Barry boys. These folks have played in a lot of grand finals, and that's probably what it comes down to. Mypolonga just didn't have that experience and play a cool head under pressure, and just use that little bit of extra time to have shots at goal and just rushed it. Three-quarter time, it was Jervois right back in them. And as Josh Scott said to me a couple of days ago, he said they gave us a sniff and we took it. And that was in the third quarter where Mypo only added, again, poor kicking, 1 goal, 5, and Jervois added 3 goals, 2 to be right back in the match, 7-16 to 6-7, the margin of 15 points at the last change. And the Tigers, coming from fifth, run out of legs in the final turn. Jervois kicked 4 goals, 6, and Mypolonga only able to manage 1 straight goal in the final term to end up going down by 9 points in what was described to me as a very uninspiring grand final with poor skills in front of goal. And look, Mypol will go away from this and they'll learn a lot out of it. They'll take it back and replay the tape and certainly learn a lot out of it. They've got some good young kids in that side coming through. They're going to be better for the loss. They say you've got to lose one to win one, and it can work the other way as well. But look at the better players. Jervois named Peter Zarantnello as their best player, and he was the Bowden-Sabolka medalist for the best on ground. Anthony Long, I love the look of this young kid. He is going to be a star. How long he stays at Jervois could be the question. He was also amongst the goal kickers, but he played a great game, as did Hayden Schultz, homegrown lad in the town. Casey Robbins, as I mentioned earlier, and Lockie Thomas grabbing her first premiership, travelling over the river from Tailem Bend to play with the Hanson boys. I think there's some relationship there back in the cousins or something like that. And he was amongst the better players with Chaz Balderson. So what you notice about that is a lot of those players aren't their big names getting in the best players, the likes of Tate Silverlock and Josh Scott and the Barry boys. So other players lifted around those big players, and that got them over the line. For Mypolonga, they named Jack Wilkins, Luke Wagonet in the ruck. Stephen Mills just run a bit of a muck there across half forward. Patrick Davies, one of their big imports this year, played well, and Lachlan Gott. On the goal front side of things, well, as we said, Mypolonga struggled to find the two big sticks. But Jervois, well, their main goal kicker was that man, Josh Scott, right up there in the goal kicking this year, and he kicked 3 for the Bloods, and it was 2 apiece to Lachlan Thomas and Peter Zarantnello, who's just everywhere. Peter Zarantnello, he plays up forward, he plays on ball, and he was, as I said, the Sabolka medalist. And they had singles to Michael Pope, Anthony Long, Dylan Barry, and of course, that's round out their goals. For Mypolonga, as I said, goals are a little bit hard to find. They just found it hard to get through the big sticks. 2 apiece to Jack Wilkins and Jack Klasky, who I think probably played better than those best players suggest. Wasn't named in the best, but from my mail, he did play a pretty good game. And singles to Sam Elliott and Patrick Davies and the boy from Orroo, Wayne Flowman's man, Nick Homps and Charlie Kirchner, also amongst another young prospect coming through the Tiger ranks with a goal. But see, at the summing the match up, Jervois just too good and would go away pretty relieved, because at the end of the day, as the old saying goes, we didn't win it, they lost it. And there was no better saying than that for Saturday's grand final, because Mypolonga really should have put the match to bed in that first half, and opportunities went squandering, and the Bloods had a sniff, and they left the door open, and they took it and got the big win, and are celebrating still, they tell me, with their victory. So well done to Jervois Footy Club getting the 2023 premiership.
Now, Bruce, before we let you go, you mentioned Daniel Menzel before and the Coorong Cats making that capture, which is a very big signing. But as a player coach, does that work anymore in country footy? I'm not so sure myself.
Oh, look, there'll be plenty of other people around there that'll, be able to work with him if he's on the field. But look, I wouldn't expect him to play, full games. So, there'll be moments in the game that he'll be able to, take that breather on the bench. And but look, it's a huge signing and huge for community footy in the Murraylands. A former Geelong Cats player and Sydney Swans player, and as we said, he's only around 32. And look, he's going to bring a lot to the Meningie Footy Club. And as I said, he's played around about 80 games there with Geelong, and just his experience, and he's just going to add so much to this competition in the River Murray, and I'd expect the Cats to be up and about next season. But playing coach, he'll have to be watched, because he'll be probably sitting up around the forward line, probably in a forward pocket, and they're going to have a 2-prong attack up there next year with the likes of Sam Sanders and Daniel Menzel. I would expect Meningie to be right on the money next season in 2024. Big signing.
Bruce Phillips talking all about River Murray football. It's been great catching up with you again, Bruce. We'll see you next week on the Sports Show. Lovely to have you on again, though, Bruce. Take it easy and enjoy the sport.
Yeah, we'll be back next week with the opening round of the cricket season, but I'd just like to wrap up with the 2023 footy season. Big thanks to Flow FM. It really has been a huge coverage across the season. A lot of work goes in behind the scenes with the staff and to produce this show each week. Well done to all the guys that come on each week and talk about the various leagues. This show in its 23rd year, it really is just amazing and great to be a part of it. And so, yeah, well done to all the team there. And, well, I think the Flowman's got the contract out. I haven't quite signed it yet, but we'll have a look at that in the next few months and ponder over it, whether he can give me a pay rise. But, look, looking forward to it, and we'll be back next week with a big opening round of Alexander and Eastern Hills cricket. So we look forward to talking about that then, Helen.